Yeah, lovely conditions, and they are poised and ready to go. Boston University in the Temple against Oxford Brookes University A. This will be a good post-tee scrap that we're going to watch on the water now. The umpires and the starters just holding them for Oxford Brookes University boat to be ready. And down now the cocks, and we have to wait for Oxford University boat. Who goes into the weekend and who goes home?
A nice clean start there. Brookes crew there looking very neat and aggressive off the blocks.
So Oxford Brookes University on the buck station, as you say, getting away powerfully. Boston trying to go with them.
Yeah, Boston also looking very aggressive. They're a good crew, rose to the IRAs, won the B final. And they're really both crews nice and clean start out of the blocks, clearing the island there.
Boston University of the USA. Keep an eye on Luke Towers, by the way, in the 5 seat. He used to row at Pangbourne, just down the road. And Jonathan Cameron as well, won the Forley Challenge Cup with Clare's Court in 2016. So they may be all the way from Boston University in America, but there are a couple of them in that boat that know this stretch of water very well.
And here Brookes seems to be about maybe half a length up. Very clean start, and settling into quite a proficient rhythm already, to be honest. It's going to be interesting to see whether Boston can hold on to them now as they transition into their rhythm.
It could be a pretty tasty race, tasty match-up, this one.
Yeah, I should think so. Brookes, obviously, it's not their very first boat, but it's their top student boat to race in this event. And this is Boston's fastest crew they've brought over. And they're both coaches from these crews are both ex-international athletes, so they'll have prepared these crews really very thoroughly.
It does reflect the intensity rising as the days go on.
It is amazing, isn't it? And there's a lot of British athletes going over to the US with the opportunity to study and row in these highly funded, highly organised programs. But Oxford Brookes still there, half a length, maybe just over half a length. Both crews now settling to something they're going to sustain for the rest of the race.
So Oxford Brookes University with good early speed. All the questions being asked of Boston. So there in the foreground, the stroke, Seb Newman. And the cocks, Gavin Williams, just checking on the progress of Boston, which is sluggish compared to his boat, the Oxford Brookes boat.
So, I mean, Boston yesterday had quite a tight race against the University of Pennsylvania, winning by 2/3 of a length. And Brookes yesterday beat the University of London A crew by 1 length. So both crews were tested yesterday.
And that could have some bearing as well today, couldn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, these two guys are fit and they do train for this, but with the heat we've had during the regatta, recovery is paramount.
Temple Challenge Cup. University of Washington won it last time round. Time of 5:58. Before that, Oxford Brookes University won it 3 years of 4, so they've got really good pedigree in this.
They've got a very good pedigree in this event. They almost felt like it was their event, but Washington rocked up last year and snatched it away from them. Here again, a really good rhythm coming from this Brookes crew. There's a really great acceleration. You can see the whole crew, the way their bodies are really pulling hard. But BU, Boston University, really aren't letting them have the best of it. They are just staying in there. It's slightly less physical look the way they row, slightly more quiet with their bodies, but it's very neat and efficient.
Yes, and the quieter style might come out on top at the end. This is still game on here. We're at the early stages of this race. After tea in the Temple Challenge Cup, one of the really old traditional events. The cup was made way back in the 1830s. So plenty of history around this one.
Yeah, again, it's just sticking in half a length or so. And this event here is all for students. They all have to be in full-time education at their university. But their Oxford Brookes now seem to be, they've put a big effort in there, and really very suddenly have taken out quite a bit of distance on Boston University.
I think Oxford Brookes will be surprised at how this race is unfolding. Pleased as well, a coach in the launch just behind. Let's look at the Boston boat.
Yeah, the Boston boat, the boys now, if they have any hope of winning, then really need to make a big difference now and try and get back on terms.
Elliot Jenkins in the stroke seat. William Mulhall, the cocks, trying to fight them back in. to make a move pretty quickly, aren't they?
Yeah, it just looks a bit on the crew on the right-hand side of your screen, Boston University. Their finishes, the end of the stroke just seems to be popping out a little bit. But Brookes, the more consistent they've kept their form, and I think their power is starting to show now as they come towards the latter half of the race.
Look how congested that channel is to the left of the picture there. You can see pleasure craft and random boats heading down that stretch of the water. I wonder if that makes much of a difference to the rowers. It's A, distracting, and B, there's a possibility of a bit of wash.
I think as an athlete you don't notice it so much, but you do definitely feel the wash. It can be very distraction, and also because it hits each crew at a different time, it can actually have, sometimes if it's a big wash, have some sort of effect on the crew. You're taking advantage of it if the cox is aware of it enough. But in this situation here, particularly when you get the openings like that on the right hand side, you feel like it's quite calm, then the opening comes and just you really do get rougher water.
It is one of the most spectacular Friday afternoons you could ever wish for at Henley. It's the most perfect weather, and the crowds, well, we always get big crowds in Friday around tea time.
Yeah, I mean, walking here, it's so congested in Stewards. It's full of people out there all cheering their clubs on. There'll be a big Oxford Brookes support there in the crowd. I'm sure we'll hear that coming now. So
Oxford Brookes University in the Temple Challenge Cup up against Boston University have stretched to a couple of lengths now in front of Stewards. You can see the packed crowd all craning their necks trying to get a good vantage point from the bank. And there they are, Oxford Brookes University. They're 8, looking good to progress through to the weekend, which is where everybody wants to be, of course. And that's a fine result for them against an experienced and very capable Boston University boat. Oxford Brookes University through to the semi-finals day in the Temple Challenge Cup.